Mame fa na say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV de osia dem yopo.
Mrasaba Genimari som to abam Lumnyam fa kwame wahene prempon ensem bi ene na muhu sa papa yi eyade sa ya che no ewo eya Amsterdam airport kase a eno so ewo Netherlands man emu abrochimemo na ne nyina da manfo keka esa papa wa di bone kase ene de amanfo el suggestim anase mpomu allergy ene say wapanin kase ya kekan ene ya chase biso ayesai enipa waka bien eya pani asa wokodom kase na fam wanu no se bibibia da ekoye ya wo friend sa majority chief ya wonu nso no ene onumnyamfo Panikasi rocks and Nelson Dafeamekpor.
Thank you very much. Indeed, it's a big headache. It came as a big headache. Sunday, I believe by Sunday 5 a.m. thereabouts when he called me. So I was the first person he called, and told me about the issue. So quickly, I had to also refer the issue to my principals. So eventually, I got my leader, who was himself on transit at Heathrow in London. So he had to fly to Schiphol to go and engage him for about 2 or 3 hours to understand the issues. Since then, we have brought in the foreign minister, we brought in our ambassador to Hague, we brought in the attorney general because he has to deal with some legal issues in terms of the statute of Rome because he's traveling on a diplomatic passport. Speaker himself has been brought in, clerk. So we've coordinated this matter very well. We have a lawyer for him now. The lawyer is a Ghanaian based in The Hague, but he qualified in Hague, so he practices there. And so he's dealing with the issues. But let me confirm that he's fine. We engaged here, but the arrest actually happened was on transit from Accra on KLM through Schiphol to London. It's a private trip, I must say, but he's traveling on a diplomatic passport. So that's why the Parliament is so concerned in dealing with the issues. But we want to urge all the media houses to not to be throwing in things that haven't been confirmed. Because even the warrant for his arrest, we are yet to have the authenticated copy. The prosecutor that has been appointed in Amsterdam dealing with the matter with the lawyer is yet to give those necessary documents to the lawyer and for our consideration. So let's stay calm and don't let us jeopardize the issues. We are doing everything possible to see how best the matter can be resolved.
So look, it means you are also trying to get more information about the full reason for the arrest.
Yes,
and then
because we need to have the basis.
Okay.
Exactly. But in the meantime, more preliminary requests that they've made, asking for documentations, we have provided all that from the parliamentary angle. But let me say this. As for extradition, it has even happened to sitting presidents of countries. Every lawyer of some repute knows this in international law, in conflict of law causes. You must have heard of the Pinochet cases. A sitting president came to London and he was arrested that he should be extradited to the US. You must have heard of the Julian Assange cases. So these things happen. In our case, in this matter, we are praying that the grounds are such that we can deal with the issues so that he can return home. So we want the family, our colleagues in Parliament, everybody to remain calm whilst we deal with the matter.
Is it fair if we make this the second in a list of cases where our former finance minister is domiciled in the US, the state has tried to bring him down and not been successful, and then now a member of parliament on a private business, it has been detained and arrested in another country at the behest of this same US, who have refused to, in a sense, or I won't say refused, but have not cooperated in extraditing the former finance minister. Some people feel like there's a challenge there, and it appears Ghana is being bullied by the US.
Well, it may be a fair comment to make. Why not? Because when we sign these extradition treaties, they operate purely on principles of reciprocity. and Clement is still in the teaching of the law, so he knows. So where things happen this way, then commentators want to draw the kinds of conclusion that you have just drawn. I also even heard Amanda Clinton saying that it's also a slap in the face of our security forces because it means the US doesn't believe in them to give them notice. But notice is not often given in this matter. Like the Pinochet cases, if you read them, he was surprised.
Okay.
He was never told. Julian Assange, he was surprised. He was never told. So when people traveling on diplomatic passports run into some of these problems, we use the diplomatic channels and the law to handle the matter.
I won't so that
don't
Bernard,
say that America
the undisputable fact, Roxanne, has been that there has been other arrests.
All right, let me
of the Americans
for similar offenses. You use the phrase similar offenses. That is what I'm saying.
When I say similar, it's not the same. It's not the
all right.
To jeopardize anybody's case. I have seen writings. It's not fair to him. Please.
Okay, but
he's been detained. We are looking for the reasons for the detention and the arrest.
But I think Balfour's substantive point is that he believes the U.S. government does not trust that.
All he did was to throw in politics and throw in jabs and say that similar offenses. What is the similar offense? You can be extradited to the US for a lot of things. So please, there's nothing like similar offense here.
No, I think the point, my understanding.
And the point also that they have always known. When did you know?
No, Roxanne,
this matter happened on Sunday.
Fair enough.
So what is the meaning of that? You have always known. Please,
Roxanne,
the man left Ghana Saturday evening.
Yeah, Roxanne.
And got to Skipo Sunday morning. So what is this thing that you have always known?
No, the question.
It's not fair.
The question I wanted to ask was, couldn't the U.S. government have asked the Ghanaian government to produce the man instead of waiting for him to travel and then ask the Dutch to arrest him, to detain him? I think that's the question.
Yes, I addressed this matter in my opening comments. I said that as for notice, we were not given. And ordinarily, they don't give notice. And in fact, this has happened to sitting heads of state.
Okay.
And I gave the Pinochet example.
Okay.
Julian Assange, he was not given notice. He was arrested before they disclosed the reason. So the US, sometimes they get these things wrong. If you read the Pinochet cases, they got it wrong, but it happened. So we are using the diplomatic means and other processes to have the matter resolved.
All right.
Please.
Everybody in Parliament is my friend.
I know.
And so I will not be in a hurry to deny him.
Yes.
No, because he's gotten into problem. But we need to put this on record.
Yeah.
That we knew about this, but we're not in a hurry to bring it out. If the NDC, if he had been on the other side, the NDC would have been hurried to publish this, to let the world know.
But where is this coming from, Bafo?
I just want to put it on record that
you knew about what?
Unlike the New Patriotic Party.
No, you knew about what?
We are not.
Roxanne, can you allow my guest to continue? I will bring you in.
But what he just threw in was totally unnecessary.
Yeah, but let him finish. Then you can react to it.
Now, Bernard, we are in an era where Ghana has had to assist the US to get certain people from this country for similar offenses for which the Honorable Member of Parliament has been arrested or is being detained. And so when the US cannot trust Ghana to help them get this Honorable Member of Parliament in Ghana, but has to have him arrested outside of Ghana, then it raises a fundamental issue of trust. Because the US came to Ghana for Abu Trika. The US came to Ghana for a couple of others when they needed them. And Ghana assisted them to get those gentlemen, right? Even though Abu Trika's case is still pending. And so the question will be, why didn't the US trust Ghana well enough that if they so needed the Honorable Member of Parliament, Ghana will give him to him? I think it's a question.
But should we be looking at what US trust or what is in our interest? US can decide who they want to trust, because it's not as if US itself is like some clean, you know what I'm saying?
No.
So if US can choose who to trust based on its interest, but the question is, what is in our interest?
When the evidence suggests of a certain dealings and there's a departure it should raise curiosity. Here there is a departure in terms of the trend of his dealings
the
with
way
Ghana.
they deal with us on these kinds of matters. Okay.
And that for me raises a serious
Bernard,
question. And it
Bernard,
is because it doesn't trust this government to deal with one of its own.
But this is a member of parliament. So,
but he caucuses with them.
No, I'm coming. Roxy, hold on. Are you saying that, for example, if the US in the Abu Trika case feels like regular processes would allow him to be extradited, so they would not trigger some of what they've triggered now, an MP is not the same type of person.
It doesn't matter.
So that if they decide...
Hasn't the government arrested members of parliament from the other side?
No, but he hasn't sent them abroad.
No, but I'm saying that. No, we are not above the law. We only have certain exceptions under certain circumstances. However, we are not above the law. And so if the US trusts Ghana to have dealt with them on a certain score in terms of certain people, why didn't they trust us? Because they've observed that the NDC government, when it comes to its own, it doesn't touch them.
But is the US itself trustworthy?
Well,
that's the question you should be asking.
No, you see, that question is abstract. We are looking at real facts before us.
But do we have the details of why he's been arrested?
Whether or not we have the details, it's not as material as much as the US's need for him. And the fact that the US has dealt with us on similar situations in recent times, and the fact that in this instance the US has decided that there should be a departure to bring it out. If the NDC, if he had been on the other side, the NDC would have been hurried to publish this, to let the world know.
But where is this coming from, Bafo? Bafo should avoid this sort of submissions on this matter. It is his colleague who is in detention. I've not even seen or cited the warrant of arrest, let alone know the basis. But he's on TV saying that similar offenses. What is the offense? Please, this can happen to any other person. So let's be careful. When official information
Roxy,
comes out, we can speak to it. Please, I'm not intimidating
Roxy, you cannot
but I'm saying that don't run your brother under the bus this way.
Roxy,
I am saying you can make your submission without you can make your submission without being very particular. There's no basis that has been stated officially for his arrest.
The undisputable fact is that there is an arrest.
What is the undisputable fact?
There is an arrest. The undisputable fact is also
of international law, following what even happened in Venezuela and what's happening in the Middle East. So when you teach your students international law, what will you tell them now?
You must have exemptions now.
if my students hear me talking about international law, they will even chuckle. Because international law is not my forte. I teach commercial law and to a very large extent resources. Dr. Kobno champion, this is his area. But we've had, at the faculty level, we've had discussions on where international law is going. And even at school, one of the things that they asked us whether international law is even law. With now states putting their sovereignty first. When it comes to the Committee of Nations, that's an issue to look at. That is all that I can say before my students start chasing me for proffering on international law.
Wow.
when I don't have the capacity to do so.
You are MP from Asante. He is also MP for Asante. So even though he did not opt to join the minority, I'm sure it must be concerning for even the Asante caucus, right?
He's Bafo's friend, or he's Bafo's dear friend.
Well, I will not look.
They can get together.
Enunti ebusianfonensa paninkase ya wotesa wakasai se woka okọ Ghana mra asebede fiemu am ene edom eya kase no wono anoyesa no manyina da ekoye na etumi ede amom abrani kwanza obi aba wono ena wotesa paninkase no nso nani abre ya woka ensam no ebia no nteno parliament wono mo eni abre wo mu aba akon ana sese ye ka ne ho akwakodi adwamo yi enunti na wasa kwan biara so no anomonto sonko parliament om nso betuo no wotumi eka wansam ne no ana sadam di kan eka ye no wonumnyamfo ana wura andi apia kubi enkane no na wono ayemra shabadwani ewa asante atem no fo no ba bia yasemra shabadwani wonumnyamfo kwame wohene frempon wayamra shabadwani na wakwakwaya ade biom so sati seye ama akofa ensam bebrenu anta ɛno nso so ɛde abɛi na wɔpani kasa ne nsɛm yɛ a wɔka ne egu so yɛwɛ sɛ yɛnsa bɛtumi aka deɛ wɔka no a deɛ wɔka nyinata ɛne sɛ authorities mpanimfoɔ wɔn nso mo ɛhwɛ sɛ biribia bɛ due process na ɛtumi ɛde fair try aba na ɛno nso ama nkwankɔba sɛ adeɛ ne deɛ yɛka wɔn nsɛm na nso so no na ebia mpanimfoɔ no mo ntom bɛtu no anhwɛ na akɔ sɛ wei deɛ yɛyi aso ɛne mpa ase ehu yɛ ase ekɔ bonkum anasa ekɔ nifa anhwɛ na akɔ fɛ nimguaseɛ sonko ɛde abrɛ adehyia wɔn mo ɛwɔ abatɔ mpɛsia no so afei ɛnso so wɔn man kan na nyina da no nte no wɔn mo ɛmpɛsɛ nimguaseɛ bɛba deɛ a ɛne na ɛsɛ na ɛfatasa mpanimfoɔ tumi ɛyɛ biribi na wɔn tumi ɛma asomdua mapa ɛno nso ɛtumi ɛba ɛwɔ ho na yɛntie nsɛm yɛ a ɛnka ne mmarahyɛ badwani onimnyamfoɔ Andy Apiakubu ɔno nso aka ɛde afa saa nsɛm yi ɛho yi.
Speak to the fact of the detention, but I can speak to the allegation that is making the rounds, and I also rely on the allegation and say that we are told that there is such an arrest and detention at this present time, and the international law says that you cannot crucify somebody when you have not heard his side of the story. So he is deemed to be innocent until proven guilty, and that we expect due process to go through, and let us see the results of due process. And at the end of the day, when he is given the opportunity to also establish his case and a ruling comes thereon, then we can rely on the ruling and say who is guilty and who is not. But for now, let us not be in a hurry to crucify him, and let us also not be in a hurry to accept one side of the evidence and leave the other side. And let us also uphold the tenets of rule of law, and let's also respect fundamental human rights, and let us also respect the fact that Oteram Partem rule give a hearing to all parties is also an issue. At the end of the day, a result worthy of reliance and worthy of implementation. At that point, then the procedural game will start. The net effect of the decision is that it will trigger some legal processes, and the legal processes will give us answers and answers that will satisfy the whims of the populace. So for now, it is too early in the day to sacrifice. I will not sacrifice him. I will not also prosecute him in my mind, and I will also not defend, because I'm not a defender, but I will rely on due process.
Ebusanfo panikasi amotene nkan wono eye enka ne mrahye badwanim ema adehia womoto aba ewa Asante Akim of abaton pesia so owura Andy Apiakubu eno no sese de wo panini nsam de ene akwakwa twiapia ya amanfo area power social media so eba ne se ya akwakwa ya emremu asam eno nti ye bekọ ahoma no so na ene abemfo ne nbidifo so nko wabene yie ewo emremu akwakwa di enkomo se se ya aba ne se ya parliament woman so ate wadu wansam anu di sam ababa to dwam ewo processes ana kwani woman so efa so sadia be ya fair tra betimi aye adwuma no san ana woman so esi eje no yenkwa homa no esoe na yamame baako oyoba eye private legal practitioner Amanda Clinton yane ne kwoto ankomo so ya bepoto kakra eno nteno sabre se waba homa no so ayenkwai na yenkopoto na afe ya ba sadia nsam no esitia ne atremu na mo nso mahu Kasa emu. Madam Amanda Clinton, if you can hear us, good evening and welcome to CTV Ghana's number one television and Accra 100.5 FM.
Good evening. Thanks for having me.
I hope everything is fine.
It is. Thank you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. It is.
Hello, can you hear?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Parliament says it has activated diplomatic channels in connection with the detention and the arrest of Honorable Kwame Ohene Frimpong, the MP for Asante Atimnof. With that, what should the Parliament do with the process typically involved in this detention?
Well, they'll want to find out the full legality of it. For instance, because he was traveling on a diplomatic passport. But, you know, with the Vienna Convention, it also means that he doesn't actually enjoy full immunity because he wasn't working at a consulate full time, etc. Those are the sort of people that enjoy full immunity. and he was traveling on a private, it was a private trip. So they'll want to trigger diplomatic channels to understand the nature of the warrant, because the U.S. issued a warrant, and that is why the Netherlands apprehended him based on that warrant. And I also understand it's an Interpol warrant, and Ghana does have an Interpol office which sits within CID. So Interpol notifications are usually on the system. So it'll be interesting to see if Ghana Interpol did in fact know that there was a warrant for his arrest.
Okay, madam, let's see something here. Should Parliament or the Foreign Affairs Ministry be taking a lead in the communication update on this?
They should, and I do also support them actioning or triggering diplomatic channels, because at the end of the day, he's one of our own. He's innocent until proven guilty, and based on his status in being one of less than 300 people who are MPs in this country, he does enjoy certain rights and certain protection. And we're not just protecting him, but we're also protecting our image. So I do think that the Foreign Ministry should be triggering these things, and they should be following up on exactly the nature of the arrest and why wasn't this information shared earlier.
Okay, thank you for joining us this evening.
Okay, thank you very much.
I was for the Anini Kodin Kome, why lawyer knew a gun in na wa kwatena bro church papa no waka ne sense so just sense what can put here won shut down po ente ma no TBB
mete kakra samsa de edika no bisa no se ne ohene frimpon KC honorable Esiakwa akoye eno ochirechire mu na me so kan se na transit eno oyeye ena se ne ho ekoka adwamu. And a second question, who be sad, senti akwakoye say in the foreign ministry, ye Samuel could you to a black one, or Mumbremo and Natchez when no said when a foreign issue. As a banner sanity, and I'm actually general no share foreign. I'm on insem so now on the SS Bem, and was and as a sewer Bemu, now one in Penifona, one Netherlands, Crone Chen and Amsterdam, Schiphol.
Yeah,
good. It's Schiphol, as a pronunciation. Oh, Netherlands, Schiphol. And what be san was an penny4 bemwa, a bebway ye pass and a beya, one more beshen or matimi a chicha agent in a tougher bomuna dear. I cry 100.5. Aye,
foreign affairs and answer in Parliament.
Emremu, who's a yadishan yent mean Antona Sauram see a chena, yencheno debi. Sans any party be a betting to be at any particular time to know. And so far, one lawyer Munkomudina.
They say the answer. Wama parliament dino any parliament enimu na yibibi ho
eyasem
e won say owura Rox Nelson Dafeamekpor kasa pra na ne kasa no e wo fom otimi say abo wo mu pusa
won say kan ba ko an e say kan ni anaka ehune ntin sa na akwa ye
okay ye nto aso
abusiafo ya kra 100.5 enti ye to aso na ye de amamo na ne nyina ne say edom ketwa ne ye wo mrahye begefie wo de enkrata akoma abameka ba na chese president Yewura John Dramani Mahama ena ne nsem ni nyina wo mo eka dom kuma no na ekasa na Yewura yo ne edom kuma no chief rep na chese obi ye boni bi obi amfunso obi na no atwe na ba no atea ne pakro Yewura Frank no dompre yo no nsoma do agiri empesoa ne so eho ena wodi ni tumi semrahye bedwane en wo ka ena enkrate we besie we ni open letter ya na wodi akọ na ni nyina ene sanema bebre ya ekoso omaimo ese aban etimi sorry waka na no a ye nsema hodo adom kuma ne kase ene ye saban woti akonya ma won so na cheswe ne emergency putupuru ne ne makoso no de ese de age agom kra do maka de ase so se baby a Ghana pampansu akwa dro ne de ene Ghana ya jija kra wo se Ghana ya drew breaking point ya ye hwia enye yi dom kuma na bubo niema bebre so wo maka kokwa asem se ne kokwa akuafo obre wo maka ya ho de ne se eno so se ne esi akoya levy bi ka ho no one city levy no eno so do ha beto anipa so kwekwa akuafo so bre na fe wo hwe se ne yatena ye ho nsam so ti akoya sembebre eno pokra dom kuma ne nkrata na omde koma ye president John Dramani Mahama no so chese na ho kire begu Ghana fo so amene Ghana fo ye je ye ho a ejina ensam de eye bebre na ne na ba ne se dia se etimi mpanifo nso di nkomo wo mo mabere na tasa kwabere wa manyosem na ye bisom se aso so obi ka se bia Ghana ba bia duru no ya duru ba bia sese eniama gia gu ya hwe anya ye ntaban ne sori waka se no mo so ehu ne fesan se wo mo de omania de akire wo abanyosem pa san so hwan krata ya ebeto monten so a na chese emu odu ye pa ya dom kuma no wo mo hwo mu chichi aka ne ma hodo asase president wotimi sorry na wotu ejiranya sade a wo mo chese ba bia kwa akodu no meka wo ma na chese emrahye bejefie dom kuma no minority asem na mekan ba bia magana ye o man Ghana akodu ne de ene age agukran enkrata yi mu no de o masa kaka ho biom se won sure financial clearance be free ministry of finance wo ma ye de nanso no aban afa nipa 3000 ya no eno ya contract na etu ene contract staff ya eno so no yensem bebre sense sanka financial clearance ba every sikasema so ye ho ansan watimi afa nipa nanso na nkwa ankoba ne sa ye wonu nyina keka bom ye bo ne tofa ebe yo how kase wo mo chese we na keka ho a ene ama my Ghana ba bi agina no de akwa ye bibia ewo ho na wede mitira ye yie an zansa me professor abomodi enya yewura Jonathan Asante okira busia ye ka yewura Jonathan Asante okira ye nimisa wo political analyst ya wo ye pani kwankyerefo a ode ye executive director de ma Institute of Strategic Studies IES wapeni wabini ye pa ya na mepe mene no ini enkomodi esanse fi ada ne da nyina efra no edu ensem bi se ye amanyosema ne afra ne age na adwene ne ye nyina na yesuade ewo mu enti we de me se break krama me ma ye Jonathan Asante okire me ma na akwaba manajo ye Jonathan Asante okire mira majo emu akwaba de ba kra 100.5 so
ya me ne ba me je so
yo me giri se wo ho ye
nyame adum na won so e
oh nyame gusu ekra yen yewra yankomonti ya nam so ya de frɛ wo enam sɛ ne minim ye pa sɛ wo nso nsa aka sa krata ne ebi adom kuma de krata open letter de akwa ma ban so ma state ni ma bebre bi for energy sector bi fra cocoa industry food distribution system and o ma ba environmental protection agency so ma achache ni ma hodon so ban de gu akwa mu ebetimi aboa enum ni ma bebre open obi ka sɛ Ghana is at a breaking point woni ne ya adwene Hunefa.
Yeah, but me that was it. I'm say
Accra FM.
Yeah, yeah, now sometimes you know, in the area of politics, in your chumno dosu, sycophancy and hypocrisy, yeah, na a dos. Na the on my emo akonya, ama udi on minus 8 years. Na edum pempen so a omokoto aba no say no dina ntena we memeye eya na yenhwe the different the way oman mano eto abanidi tia a particular party at any point in time. That should tell you the extent of failure of that particular party or abainua. That is the extent of failure. And that is the extent of venom that Ghanaians decided to. You know, it is not about engaging in partisan politics. No, we are responding. No. It is about facts and figures. The economy. Matisse, opening Okomia. Emra, say opening Kwachi Opusu. A debate kakra was joy about the state of the economy and how things have worsened. I have said, time without number, that the only reason that Ghanaians will vote against the NDC in 2028 election is when the economy that the NDC inherited from the MPP has become worse than what they inherited. That is one reason why Ghanaians will vote against it. And two, when the transition from President Mahama to the next presidential candidate of the NDC, the Kwano and Ndimwa a bit to me the internal bickering at the Abba, and that will create a rift. A binumber piece and yet a book go the Mkokona. These are the two main things.
Where the Ameso, but you am Kakam, so would the kind Rabono, what can ya chumbi womb, and now Saka Venom, let us say, or one or a bro, and to Sanya Mammy and Nunya Chumne, a brona cabom ya, and see who crat and summer a woman, sanity.
Oh, obviously, it is not supported by facts on the ground. I mean, to be frank with you, let us face it. Until U.S., any Israel, any Iran, any Asante, me, I'm a Tigana, me enjoy poor reductions. A one from star. A gallon, a customer, maybe talk, may now go every time you are going. 45.
Accra FM.
You don't think to say Ghana need beer or top well from that perspective in America? No. Who are now only 75 to the Sambra back and Yana Kosia last month the Toby last week in San Toby Abra MPP Abem no Kosia Abra market Cape Coast 75 cities. And then Kosia Baba do 60 cities. And then Krano Mutima organize Kosia Fair, a Momotono 35 and 40 per crate. You cannot say that this economy is worse than what they inherited. It's also and 9 young any dollar and other major currency. Because UK buy that was last year, July. Buy pounds question. Nansia Kamesano Abra me baya Ebian Kamenyan Dodo. Kakana can namsio. Last week me caught me bush of penny. Out of 600 pounds, 900 cities. But a brother Chomukono pounds na 20 cities. It is Anka multiply 20 by 600. How much will I have gotten? That should tell you, say, to be economy in a change. We'll share the debt to GDP ratio, for example. NPP ND 2024 with 61%. NDC ND 2025 with 45%. And until say NDC for a big push to Jumadiana. And that's the more reason why big push to Juman Air wow. In 2024, there was no physical space. The physical space was very infinitesimal under the previous government. And that is the more reason why a new man no mudu omusakani nyina omantimi anye. That's to be ono. I was not what CSS. A new employment. A brand NPA free abem 2024. Asante be corrected. Ghana statistical service, said then unemployment was over 14%. Now, by the end of 2025, about 13%. It is still very high. But I have listened to the NDC communicators and especially the Minister for Communication, for Government Communication here. He accepts the fact that it is still very high. So they have to work.
That's very true. Santiache, your best your brain internet, your bahome, so I'm said, the ania pesa, your jiffy on in our boss, and I wouldn't, because you are the anacradia, young man, yourself, yellow essence, a man in a quadrum. Once that will come, because you are creating a sister, no, sister, the anata say, Nakano Yakasia, a big cry at 30, for be a 40. Meaning, I just no pay on Kosianisi at the Adefa. And to the Yara, where Yabaka say, Yajina, honey, a part to now. Yanyame adoma ebeto apatu so here da wase pa na obra no adagye a woni Accra FM woni etwetwe nkomo yi Ghana for pani ane ne di nkomo yi ba ne samanyosem a wabene ye ewom Yawra Jonathan Asante Ochre
eni ese wabene wom papa dia na ye pawura mu ewo MPP amloko ni mo na mene wo kasa ise dia mpanifo bia ya se mo kasa enipa ba ko a watwe ne ti ya wo kasa ho be se ho behia ese ekuku dambi ya wono mo ewo eye party no emu no na ewasa kwan biara so no wotumi ehwe na owura alaji Mahmoud Bawumia doctor mampani abedi akire enkane de no wobomodi anso de ani hwe sa ensem yi sai empanifo koku da bia no mo party no mu a ennam ensem bia beba ye no mo bu anyoso abufo ba ye ntimo mo gya party no women so obesa akwa na chi na seriously woni safo no akwadi nkomo na watwe mu asaba party no mu wapani ba wansam ane yedi kan boni den na akomia kyese wobiti sa ewura alankash alankwadwo tramaten wodi skaton brada wodi ska brantie ya wate no akwakoti UP plus party no enkabe ya konsan kwafa no party no ebiso pani kase ni mu odu na wodi akotene power party no mu enipadodo anso di nachi entisi yakobi pass ye ntunu fono kwafa no brada ya enka Dr. Laji Mahmoud Bawumia na akomia san kwabe support afutuo no ensa wansan kwa baake na lanchamaten won kwafa no brada na womunyina nkamom sade ba ya 2028 enkurumdia sonkon ebetumi aba wobi nko obi kasaboa enhane yam ebra enkane STC bosso na akomia wo kasa nensam ya wadi to dwane bi enie.
I haven't seen or heard Alan Chermantin, for example, speak directly against a Bawumia flag bearership or even the party. After pulling out, he went through elections. He's seen the results. And time has elapsed since that time. So certainly if an approach is made to him, because he's also a stalwart of the party, you would agree. Otherwise, we'll not be talking about him. If an approach is made to him, I would support it. And if he comes back, all the better for the party. When he went on his own, he didn't get much, did he? Bawumia is the flag bearer now. He is the center of the party. He is the one whose face will be on the ballot box. He is the one we are selling to the Ghanaian people.
Accra FM. Enunti enkane STC bosso ewa MPP abandada na atwam kro no wono na komia no wakasa wo tufu wo tu Dr. Laji Mahmoud Bawumia fo se papa seriously on the sham seriously se be ya sa back na kofa ewo bi sala ntramaten bra fi se ni mo du we heavyweight ewo party na kan kabomra no mo mprenkum die 2028 ene wenti yankwa ma no soe na ya ni panin kase ba ko ya director Emma Field Operations ewo UP party no Emowura Hobson adoye wapanin kase mutate so ta kasa pa Emma UP plus amnoko no wapanin kase na ba ma no so die ya ne nkwae na yankwadi nkomowura Hobson adoye so te kan Accra 105 FM ana CTV Ghana's #1 television so na yamu akwaba na bia bokode e
yanko pode adome
yere wase pasa wadi eso na akomia enkane STC bosso pani odi akotene ewo NPP amnokom na kasa no chese enka beyanka Dr. Laji Mahmoud Bawumia wonsan kwachire na nka mo bosso alankwadwo chematen wode ne nkokasa na wonsan emrefiso okuta heavyweight yanka 2028 mina kaboma edi nkurumdie bebre party no ensam bi atese ye monom so mudi akotene party ni mu moje ne sai
so me that's it ne di kan ya pese na komia hu se Alan Chermantin onye PENDREAM no modi die wiam na besisa ngugu akwa uhu padane die maso eja dia Alan Chermantin tete omu maimpu ane benya tabukudo
Accra FM.
And I can tell you on authority, sir, from the one Alan Chermantin kase wa twene ho after elections mu MPP mu what twene ho ebesi ne, not a call from Akufo-Addo or Bawumia. That time, Omnane president and the vice president, none of them was able to pick a phone and call, say, oh, maybe I have to say, Granty, I had and I say, Bisa, Wanjimanya, Timen, your Mokikaikano, I have link service or Mokasabum from Mokake. None of them can approach even Alan Chermantin.
Opinion says, so the woken a yaudie. Won de no person Alan Chermantin wom de ne ye no mbɔ no bɔ de to nkyɛn ana nam so mabufo ba ya ofiri mu obi anso sɛ abufo bɔ mu sa no asa ya wode ne e bia nkampanyufo ba wo nkyɛn na nkom no bɛkasa e bia na nkanti asa ya adwuma e ma sa ya wode ne afrofri sɛ wo maame so anya wo maame ya no ti onka wo hu ni sanka momo no sɛ de papa de abufo na afiri mu na de MPP fo ya hu ni sɛ ebia no so sɛ nkom sa akɔ back fo fa na ba no enka mo nyintum na nka mo ne mpani kura nkasa no ansa na chima.
Ya dia ne sanya nkopɔ ɛhwɛ na ɔbɔ kan. Ɛntɛno ne deɛ ɛnyɛ ayibia obi ka sɛ bia odi ya onti no ɛhwɛ ɛnyɛ problem. Ɔho ne ɛtɛ no. Aha, eti Alan deɛ me count authority. Sɛ nkɔmɔ a ɔne yɛ die no. There is no way. Obaya na adwene sɛ or go back to MPP. It will not happen. At this time now, Omobeka so mo de ball and horn in about between common. First time no compare campaign. Let me see MPP for say Allah or Nyobia. And the Obia or Nyobia there. I think that we mobile what they say, yes, I'm Baba Father no Babeka. What in the day? It's not going to work today or tomorrow. But we just want them to understand. So mo party na good. Or mon problem by Bintra, no much come the first of FM. So no. Yes, we are party for Juma. That be ya employee. Is it at times or catch him here? Or Kata no papa. So that you know. Can you sit down and wait for all this while? Nipano apa for register the party but the work as all our regional offices are ready. Just a whole operation
okay.
You put up regional executives, you put up constituency executives. In some cases, or more working on the polling stations. No, I can say, there's a home fancy. I line that and the Jumani in our home. Roma Macau. Namuka, Mope to be the Munimalan.
Yo, Sanya Madi Openima, Yana was say, na yɛmfa nsia sɛ ɔne adi nkɔmmɔ no yɛtoa so a yɛbɔ wura mu ɛwɔ 9 mo so wɔne a yɛapa wɔn sɛ wɔnhwɛ na nipa bɔne fɔm aso ɔden te sɛ nana mampam wɔaso dendenden sɛ kawuro yɛtu ɔmo fo so ɔmo nya galamsey wɔn mpɛ so ɔmo bɛgyae ne saafoɔ no wɔn mfidie ahodoɔ a yɛakyekyere yɛ 9 mo so ɛkyɛ sɛ tia wɔakye mfidie no ɛneɛ wɔde mu bɛs wɔ ha ɛde ama ɛyɛ National Service Authority National Service fɔ so ɔmo nyai no mo nso ɛmfa ne kuya sɛdeɛ bɛyɛ no man Ghana kuya yɔnsam ebetumi afa ne ntoma pɛfra na mo so mpanufo de kan aba amaneɛ sɛ afi atwa mu ɛkɔyɛ no mfidie bi sɛ water pumper ene no wɔn de makoma bɛs wɔ ha ɛde akɔkoma National Service Authority for no wɔn mo de kan ɛde ahanu 200 ɛde akɔkoma so yɔm hwɛ man Ghana nuane ɛne yɛkuya yɔ ɛnsam soso mo nso wɔn mo ɛnyɛ no mo mfa mo nsuo to ɛmfa ngu yɛ no bɛɛ so yɛkuya yɛ ayɛ na abusua wo de bra na bɛhwɛ sa water pump yi deɛ yɛde bɔ nsuo ya wɔn mo ɛde ɛhoro galamsey sikai no ɛno ana sisi ai maakoma wɔ ha ana afi yɛde kɔ akɔma National Service Authority for say wɔn mo nyɛmfa nkɔ yɛkuya wɔn mfa kɔbɔ nsuo ɛmfa engu nɔbaya yɛdua no ɛso ana afi atwa mu kɔ yɛn nso no saa water pump wi bi wɔn no ayɛsɛ generator kɛseɛ yi ɛno nso maakoma ahanu 200 yɛde kan ɛde akɔ akɔma aso mo hwɛ yɛnuane ɛne kɔyɛ nsam sɛ mo nso ɔmonye no mfa ma akuafoɔ wɔn mfa mo nsuo to no mo ɛmfa ngu yɛnɔba ɛso na ɛbra Naimos director wɔpanin kase no wɔkasa no deɛ ntia wɔn ayɛ nsa wɔn ma mfidie ne nso wansɛe na mmom wɔn de bɛma akuafoɔ no mo ɛde abɔ ɛyɛ nsuo de agu mfodie so no emu ansɛm no bi ani
Naimos has over the past almost a year been conducting operations to rid our water bodies and forests of these gadgets which were being used for unwanted activities or dangerous activities in the field by way of illegal mining. It's a directive of the Honorable Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Honorable Amakofibua, that having removed these gadgets from the field, there is definitely a positive use for them, and that's what we call the repurposing. When we got a letter from your outfit, the National Service to authority for pumping machines, we're excited because it is the Honorable Minister's vision that these machines should be repurposed to feed Ghana, and we read that you are going to use them for farming, which sits directly with that vision. So he gave the go-ahead straight away that we should present them to you. On behalf of the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources and Naimos, we wish to present these 100 water pumping machines to you for the purpose of farming to feed Ghana. In the Galamsey space, there's nothing like politics. We meet you there, we treat you as an individual who is committing a crime. And therefore, we don't want to veer into the arena of politics. Politics is for the politicians. But when we get to the Galamsey ground, it is individuals who are committing crimes. Let me end up by saying that Diamos has done so well, and so far, we have achieved so much. Apart from the calm you see, behind it, we have arrested over 277 people from Galamsey space, out of which 163 are foreign nationals and 100 and something are Ghanaians. I should say the Ghanaians are smarter because they can escape. They know the terrain. Probably that is why. But there are about 112 excavators which are seized and secure that I can always go and show whoever wants to see. They are under the authority of the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources. There are over 4,000 chamfans which have been destroyed from our water bodies. And
enu ntiabusian for 9 months so dwumadie sonkwade ahwo monsa so monhwem empamo Galamsey yase emfri yensuo ne yakwaya breatim no mansa no wono ano akasa pani ya wada wono mo ano director of operations Colonel Dominic Boa eno no na wono kasa wiye no National Service Authority opani kwantra for wada no Mami Root Sedo wono nso ekasa de fanfidie wo ha ya water pump sa wodo e de abrom so monso monyai ni wonfanya ku ane nsema ti seye ano no nso ode tu dwai.
This year we intend to work on 20,000 acres of land for maize alone and also 10,000 acres for tomato production. And so we all know that with these crops, water is very important. And looking at the distance between where the land is and then where the water body also is, it was imperative that we get as many as possible to support us in, irrigation or for irrigation purposes. And so when the idea duly and well brought up by my able Deputy Director General in charge of operations, Colonel Moses Pengu, that why don't we get in touch with NIMOS, because NIMOS has quite a number of this seized equipment. I thought that it was a good idea, and we wrote to you. And lo and behold, I think that it's just about 2 weeks, and you got back to us. We actually requested for 50, and NIMOS together with the ministry decided to give us 100. I think that they deserve a round of applause, and it's definitely a commitment to ensuring that we see to sustainable, agriculture and promote the Feed Ghana agenda.
Yebe promote to Feed Ghana agenda. Mami amutene kan ewure no afa pam. Eye root sedo eno no ne pani kwantra form. Ya wada National Service Authority ano eno nteno
is scheduled to commence on Monday, 18th May 2026 and end on Friday, 12 June 2026 across the country. This year, a total of 61,506 candidates from public and private TVET institutions nationwide have been registered for the examinations. And this reflects the growing confidence and participation in technical and vocational education in Ghana. If you will recall, last year we had a total of just about a little above 55,000. Out of this number, 59,754 candidates will sit for the Certificate 2 examinations, whilst 1,752 candidates will sit for the traditional TVET examinations, representing an increase of 8.6 over last year's figure of 55,295 for the Certificate 2 examinations. In terms of gender distribution, 45,357 candidates, representing 73.7% are male, whilst 16.146 candidates, 16,146 candidates, representing 26.3% are female. A total number of 170 persons or candidates are with disabilities, and 92 of these are males, whilst 78 are females. And these are registered for the 2026 Certificate 2 examinations. This reflects our collective efforts towards promoting inclusivity and equal access within the TVET system. If you recall the figures for last year.
Abusuafo pani ate so akasei Yewura Zakaria Sulemana wono ena Director General Edema Commission for Technical and Vocational Education and Training. No we ye no atufo eno senyame yadom adwada ye betwere wo besre pa ye use vigilator kobia schoolfo yi so na ye use bia kobo ho ban anase supervisor kwana supervisor na musuomo na ayefo anyaw na fe na nkwada mu bedwu apa e de ato pepa so na mo tu bi na mo ribi na mo to man kwada no mo ntro na bi boshrema o hwekire ma me hwehwe mo koye sa ne ma na no kura ne ne onipa kro to anepe ene homa ebeso ne kon.
I wish to extend my warmest goodwill message and best wishes to all candidates who are sitting the examination. Your journey to this stage has required commitment, sacrifice, discipline, and hard work. These examinations present you with an opportunity to demonstrate the knowledge, competencies, and practical skills you have acquired throughout your training. I urge you to approach the examination with confidence, honesty, discipline, and integrity. Do not allow yourselves to be influenced or deceived by individuals promising leaked questions, fake questions from the social media, or shortcuts to success. True success is built on hard work, competence, and character. Remember that the certificate you earn through honest effort will remain a source of pride and credibility throughout your career and professional journey. I also wish to use this opportunity to sound a word of caution to all supervisors and inspectors